Good morning, everyone. It is really early. It's 10 to 4. 10 to 3, really, when it comes down to it. 10 to 4 in the morning. I've been waking up really early. Yeah, really early. And I kind of like it. I always liked this. So go to bed earlier, wake up earlier. I think I found in my life as I get older, I don't need all that much sleep anymore. Didn't need much sleep when I was working 3 jobs. Managed to do that for 2 years. I don't know how, with all the work at home, goats to milk, children to take care of, big old house, plus all the other animals, a garden. I think at that time I had like 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and that was it all week long. I managed for about 2 years. Then I'd say, okay, well, debt was paid off. I had to pay off some debt. I just wanted to do that. I didn't never liked owing money, and um, and then it wasn't necessary anymore. So, but now, yeah, same thing. I've never, as I said, wake up early and I still need to sleep, or I can't go to sleep. I don't know what that is either. I think you try to preserve yourself when you try to live the best, you try to give the best of yourself to out there to the world, which seem to be, I've been doing that ever since I've been a child as well. Then you got this piece of you got this peace of mind in your heart, yeah, in a way. And it's hard to describe it, that you just know you've got to be ready again for the next day. Yes. And I don't know, sleep comes for whatever, how many hours you need, not want, but need. I've never took a sleeping aid ever. Uh, For even if sometimes I just stayed up 24 hours. Say if something was really bothering me or whatever, I can't go to sleep. That only actually happened one time to me when a good friend passed away, and I just couldn't. Oh, when he was sick in the hospital, and I couldn't sleep, just couldn't sleep. It was weird. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. It was really odd, and I just went with it. I just went with it for as long as it took, and that was that. Mm, yeah, interesting. Anyway, I don't know why I started out with that. Ah, another thing I thought about. I'm always amazed when people in this day and age still come up with a good idea, something really good, something that I say, wow, this is amazing. Yes. How did they come up with that? Everything, I feel like everything is already done. Everything, any type of music, any type of book, any type of discovery has been made. Nothing else. And then if some new age stuff still comes around or whatever technology, I it has to be, for me, it has to be something good for everyone around the world, for all mankind. It's got to be good. It's got to be under the guidance of God. There's a lot of stuff still that comes out, and it's not. Nope, don't care for it. Don't care for it. Don't want to know about it. Not interested, because it's usually self-serving stuff for the people who invented or whatever, and it's about money. Yes, but rarely is it about anymore that it is actually something that would help mankind. Or if it's reinvented, it's already existed. It's just somebody comes up with it again, as if. I always thought, since I've read a lot of books, this and that, and I thought, oh, I'll write a book. I want to write a book. I finally had to say, why would I write a book? It's already all out there. It's already all written. And to really, I'm trying to find that path in life where you're really only under the guidance of good is very difficult, isn't it? It's very difficult, especially if you want to kind of pull people along with you, right? Yes, you have to kind of give in a little in certain places, or this or that. Well, anyway, I had some interesting thoughts, give and take spirit world on some things that these early mornings really make possible. Yes, I'm surrounded by so many people now. So I have a feeling that spirit was like, okay, in order for her to continue what we'd like her to do and stay focused, yeah, she needs to get up earlier. So I have no doubt that they're waking me up. But tired. I came home last night from my other daughter's home, and we'd done all kinds of things. This and that, especially kind of organizing this and finished in the garden. Found a grapevine and set that up, and it was so interesting to see when we got. But as I separated the grapevine from all the other foliage and then cut that out, and I set up a little fence so the grapevines could attach itself to it, and there were about 20 or 30 already of the vines going, grapevines, and I would take one of the vines and train it towards the little fence that I made, and its tendrils would immediately, it's like you could see how they would move to attach themselves to the fence. Yes, it was so cute. It's like little fingers. Okay, so I've been around a little tiny baby, right? How they just curled right around the mesh of the fence that I put up to curl and hold on to it. I didn't have anything to hold on to. Oh, yeah, foliage, but I took that away from it. And it was so cute to watch, and how the plant moved, showed life, signs of life, by movement, on how I trained it, to just held it to the mesh, and it would curl around it. So beautiful to watch that. I went, oh my gosh, this is a real special moment to see that on how a plant reacts to care, right? Yes, and accepts it. All right, all right. Anyway, that was a beautiful moment yesterday. But I came home, and I was tuckered out. I was really tuckered out. And I heard the children. I brought my older granddaughter back with me, and they were all having a great time out there. And then this morning, I thought, I'll just fix me already some coffee, which I did. I have my own coffee machine down here. And I walked out to the basement, and is baby down here? That's their dog. But she usually comes in here to lay down with me. And I went and looked, and all three of my grandchildren are sleeping on the floor. There's a big old nice carpet there, and on the couch. They're all just out down here rather than upstairs. And I like to do that. Last year, I know I shared, I go to bed again. I just fall asleep. They're old enough now; they don't. And then there's the parents upstairs, of course. I remember waking up and going, I don't think I'm alone in the room. And all the children were just laying everywhere with their pillows and blankets. I love it. Children can just sleep anywhere, right? Yeah. so cool. All right, let's go. Let's get going. But I was so tired, Dad. I think by 8 o'clock I was asleep, so that's why I'm awake now, right? Yes. So yes, it's okay to need less sleep, or acknowledge you need less sleep when you're not as active anymore as you were in your 20s, 30s, 40s, even, yeah. I kind of started going downhill in my later 50s. Okay, when it comes to all that. And yeah, it's like sleep is overrated. You need it, but you don't need as much as prescribed, I would say. Just go with the flow, and you never know. Right now, I need this time to do this, and to have a little time to just think and have that give and take with spirit world, and yes, do some other things. Before then, I have hours and hours and hours again with the children. Yes, yeah. Then I have to focus there, and I do. That's why I don't own a cell phone. That's why, yeah, this device here, the tablet that I use sometimes to check on things, gets put away. Unless we're looking something up, then it comes in handy. But otherwise, that is that. My focus is completely on my grandchildren, and we have a great time. Yeah, okay. So, this time is nice. We are in a new book. Ooh, the Book of Tobit. We have a little. Oh, this is interesting. How's this written? Where's one? Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. I said, not any ever heads. The Book of Tobit. So we have a little intro here. Tobit tells of the reward of perseverance in good works. Do you guys know about that again? They know the Bible better than anyone. Which tells me something too here. Yeah, every time. Tobit tells of the reward of perseverance in good works. Tobit's devotion to the law and to the Jewish way of life is answered by God's watchful benevolence, as shown in the mission of the guiding angel who writes the family fortunes. It's interesting, a family has been on my mind. The true family, who so fragmented right now. Yes. Which one then could use as, well, there you go. But I'm not going to do that. I know better than that. Family struggle. The best I could do is give my support, and hopefully things will work out there. Well, anyway. The story is set in Nineveh sometime during the exile. Oh, but details of history and geography are telescoped and are not important to the appreciation of the story. Well, aren't you setting yourself up here nicely? The book was written circa 200 BC and existed only in Greek and Syriac translations until Hebrew fragments were recently found at Qumran. Huh. That's interesting. Okay, well, let's get going. Let's find out. Tobit, the Book of Tobit. 1. The Tale of Tobit. It's a tale. It's a story. Are you telling me there is a fairy tale in here? Circumstances aren't important. Huh? Okay, well, let's read a story. Okay. The tale of Tobit, son of Tobiel, son of Ananiel, son of Aduel, son of Gabael, of the lineage of of Uzziel and tribe of Naphtali, in the days of Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. He was exiled from Tisbe, which is south of Kadesh Naphtali in Upper Galilee above Hazor, some distance to the west north of Shepot. Well, now we've got a pretty detailed history of the genealogy of Tobit, so the man must have existed. Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. I find it's really, you see, and I want to. The Bible isn't. You can't just read the Bible. If you really want to understand more about it, and go, okay, what is going on here? Shalmaneser, king of Assyria. Okay, what's going on here with the Persian kings and the Assyrian kings? It seems like they're just all mixed up. Now, who's 200? Okay, 200 BC. As far as I know, in Nehemiah, this was all 400 some. Didn't it say that somewhere? See, now I gotta go look. Now it's gonna get boring for you guys to listen to, but it is what it is. 445 to 433 was when Nehemiah presided over the community and building and rebuilding, restoring the walls of Jerusalem. And this was about 200 years before Christ. So, okay, so that was 200 years later than the book of Nehemiah. So were they exiled again? Who's this Tobit now? Well, it's from the tribe of Naphtali, is not part of Israel. Got to do deeper study if you really want to understand what's going on here exactly, or have a better memory. Yeah, what did we read about all that before? Well, anyway, Tobit the exile. So when was that exile? Did they get exiled again? Don't know. Guess we'll have to just read. What happened in the 200 years before? Is this a mix-up? Is this just mixed in here again for what? More interesting reading or something? I'm not getting. I'm telling you, what's this interesting to read the Bible like this? And why have I not? I know I've come across people who have read the Bible from beginning to end more than once. And for some reason, I've never had a conversation with them where they said, well, actually, in the Bible, as I read it, so I'm going, well, how do people read the Bible? With what kind of a mindset? Right? Yes? To study it, actually, and to look at what went actually on and what went wrong, what to do, what not to do. Right? Where does God come in all this? And yeah, let's just continue. I could go on and on and on about this. Tobit the exile, okay? I, Tobit, have walked in paths of truth and in good works all the days of my life. I have given much in alms to my brothers and fellow country folk, exiled like me to Nineveh in the country of Assyria. In my young days, when I was still at home in the land of Israel, the whole tribe of Naphtali, my ancestor broke away from the house of David and from Jerusalem. Through this was the city chosen out of all the tribes of Israel for their sacrifices. What? My ancestor, tribe of the whole tribe of Naphtali, my ancestor broke away from the house of David and from Jerusalem, though this was the city chosen out of all the tribes of Israel for their sacrifices. Here the temple, God's dwelling place, had been built and hallowed for all generations to come. All my brothers in the house of Naphtali sacrificed on every hilltop in Galilee to the calf that Jeroboam, king of Israel, had made at Dan. What does that mean? The calf could not have been a good thing. At Dan. All right, now we Jeroboam. Wait a minute. All right. Often I was quite alone in making the pilgrimage to Jerusalem, fulfilling the law that binds all Israel perpetually. I would hurry to Jerusalem with the first yield of fruits and beasts, the tithe of cattle and the sheep's first shearings. I would give these to the priests, the sons of Aaron, for the altar to the Levites ministering at Jerusalem. I would give my tithe of wine and corn, olives, pomegranates, and other fruits. 6 years in succession I took the second tithe in money and went and paid it annually at Jerusalem. I gave the third to orphans and widows and to the strangers who live among the Israelites. Oh, I brought it them as a gift every 3 years. When we ate, we obeyed both the ordinances of the law of Moses and the exhortations of Deborah, the mother of our ancestor Ananiel. For my father had died and left an orphan. When I came to man's estate, I married a woman from our kinsfolk, whose name was Anna. She bore me a son whom I called Tobias. I like that name, Tobias. Tobias. When the banishment into Assyria came, I was taken away and went to Nineveh. All my brothers and the people of my race ate the food of the heathen, but for my part I was careful not to eat the food of the heathen. And because I had kept faith with my God with my whole heart, the Most High granted me the favor of Shalmaneser, and I became the king's purveyor. Now it's interesting. I always ask ourselves, how about some commoners here that we hear some stories about? Tobit, though, how is it described here first in the just preface? Kind of as a tale, a fairy tale, just a story. There's, certain things aren't important about this story. Seems to me, though, I'm finding something different here that is very important. And one thing I find here is a commoner, Tobit, who took what was prescribed or told, or God's laws, serious with his whole heart. And he went beyond that. It doesn't say, it hasn't said really, truly, anywhere at all, except for that one of God's commandments or laws was that the Levites are being taken care of, right? The priests and the Levites, by the tribes. And here is someone, but otherwise it doesn't say anywhere that the people should take care of each other, per se. In the way that this guy, every 3 years he would do what? Or the third giving was for whom? Just saying. So it's interesting to see here. Wow. Now I said that again. I hope it was a pretty cool dude. Yes. Well, let's see. Until his death, I used to travel to Media, where I transacted business on his behalf, and I deposited sacks of silver worth 10 talents with Gabael, the brother of Gabrias, at Rags in Media. And who is that? On the death of Shalmaneser, his son Sennacherib succeeded. The roads into Media were barred, and I could no longer go there. In the days of Shalmaneser, I had often given alms to the people of my race. I gave my bread to the hungry and clothes to those who lacked them. and I buried, when I saw them, the bodies of my country folk thrown over the walls of Nineveh. That's definitely a sign of being slaves or low servants. That's really sad. How can you just throw bodies of people over the... Oh gosh, ugh, gross. Ugh, who would do that? Mm. People who care little for other people's lives, I guess. I also buried those who were killed by Sennacherib. When Sennacherib was beating a disorderly retreat from Judea after the king of heaven had punished his blasphemies, he killed a great number of Israelites in his rage. Well, that's a weird one. I guess that did trickle down, that idea that from beating a disorderly retreat from Judea after the king of heaven had punished his blasphemies. I guess he's talking about God. He killed a great number of Israelites in his rage. So I stole their bodies to bury them. Sennacherib looked for them and could not find them. And Ninevite went and told the king it was I who had buried them secretly. When I knew that the king had been told about me and saw myself being hunted by men who would put me to death, I was afraid and fled. All my goods were seized. They were all confiscated by the treasury. Nothing was left me but my wife Anna and my son Tobias. Oh, I could say so much about this right now. So here's a man who sounds like he's a really good guy, right? Then he got the favor of the king, Assyrian king. Yet somehow he came never in contact with the son, who then succeeded this good king that seemed to be somewhat, again, right, a nice king, a different king, not an Israelite king, but a nice king. Then here comes the son, and this is how everything goes to hell again. I'm not getting that there's no consistency in, and you know what, we're going through the same thing right now. There's no consistency when it comes to true parents and who could be leading after both mother and father have passed away. Father has passed already. Mother's trying her best, and the sons are just nincompoops. Just about all of them. Not one of them's got a heart for the people. It's weird, or at least not that I can see. And yeah, it's just weird. So here's this great guy, and yeah, somebody else comes in power, and he's losing everything. Though he was a good person, right? Yes. So where's God in all this? Why isn't he protecting Tobit? Well, he is. He's got his family. His son and his wife are with him. Eh? Possessions or whatever. He still has his life and the life of his family members. Yes, that's good. That's about the best God can do in a situation like that. It's not going to save your possessions. But anyway, it's interesting on when you're a good person, when you try to do the right thing. He buried the people, he gives to the people, right? And then there are people who don't like that. They don't like that. There's something wrong with that? Who would ever think that there's something wrong with that? Tell me. Right? To stay steadfast. And Tobit could have just said, well, okay, I'm just going to not bury these. I'm just going to have to leave it alone because I'm going to suffer otherwise, right? That king's going to come after me. Didn't care. He still did the right thing. Regardless, he still did the right thing. Yeah, and then he paid for doing the right thing. Right? Yes. How often does that happen to good people? A lot. Less than 40 days after this, the king was murdered by his two sons. Oh my gosh. See, it isn't just among the Israelites, the kings and the sons there, that bloodshed and all that's just awful. Seems to be happening everywhere. I read up on kings and queens and emperors and empresses of history. Long ago, this and that. It doesn't matter which continent you go, which country you go to and study that up. It's never been a good thing. Never. And they always ended up, always, always. I said there may have been one or two in between that managed to stay alive and still do good. Okay? But always, these families on the top of the pyramid, the kings and queens and all that jazz, they ended up killing each other, killing their own mother, father, brother, sister, son, daughter. It's awful. And here you go. That one, this Assyrian king, was murdered by his two sons. How the heck? What is that? We've got to abdicate. If there's one thing we're learning, through all this, even here with Tobit, no king, no queens, none of that anymore. It was never sanctioned by God. There was never, ever, anywhere that God referred to himself, heavenly parent, referred to himself as king or ruler of the world and the universe. Never. There is not. If it is being said, we've already found it. It's being said for the agenda of man, okay, and woman. that was mankind's agenda, okay, not our heavenly parent's agenda. Ideal. Yes, it's true. Show me. Jesus, I'll say that right now here because we're going to get into it again, and I'll mention it again. He never referred to himself as a king. That was done by the Romans after he was already dead, or just before they put him on the cross. Crowned him with a crown of thorns, called him the king of the Jews. Jesus never referred to himself as a king. Neither did true Father. Not in the way, again, that always stressed true parents. Where the king and queen came in, I'm not sure. As I said, one should know Korean, right, to know exactly. I said the discrepancies in the translations are huge when it comes to actual meaning of many said things. Right? Yes, in the Divine Principle, in many of the textbooks that True Father left behind, and no doubt True Mother will leave behind. So, there it is. But we have our own heart to mind. If we cannot find the truth, even within a text, I'm going, okay, wait a second. But I have all this other stuff. I can't just go by one sentence that doesn't quite make sense with the rest of it. Right? Then I must assume that there's something not quite right. I got it. I am intelligent. I've got my own heart to mind to work with. I don't need to use other people's out there. It's nice to get input, but here again, as I said, here we go again. Less than 40 days after this, the king was murdered by his two sons, who then fled to the mountains of Ararat. Anyway, Heavenly Parent said, God said to Samuel, people want a king? Well, got free will, give him a king. That's going to be a mess. It's been a mess ever since. And people have relied on a ruling, as a ruler, to have a ruler, yeah, like that, instead of being under the guidance of God. Yes? His son, Esarhaddon, succeeded. Oh, these other two sons killed the king. There you go. And then he had another one. Ahikar, the son of my brother Anael, was appointed chancellor of the exchequer for the kingdom and given the main ordering of affairs. Why are there so many? So now here is a son again of this king of Assyria, the good one, the better one, that seems to have kind of the same heart as his father, his grandfather had. Yes? Okay. And an Israelite, sounds like, of my brother, yeah, that was Tobit's brother, was put in charge as a chancellor. I wonder why these kings depended so. Yeah, we hear this a lot. There's all kinds of stories where Israelites were put in important positions for Joseph, for example, for the Pharaoh, in positions where then they had great power in a way, right? Yes. I wonder why these kings trusted the Israelites so much. Interesting. And a good thing. Ahikar then interceded for me, and I was allowed to return to Nineveh, since Ahikar had been chief cupbearer, keeper of the signet, administrator, and treasurer under Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and Esarhaddon had kept him in office. He was a relation of mine. He was my nephew. Okay. That's the first one in Tobit. Oh, interesting. Oh, there will be this sounds more interesting. I say that again. And it's supposed to be just a fairy tale. You know what? I'm thinking there was probably a lot more truth in this story. I'm just thinking. Let's do a little, huh? I predict there's a lot more truth in this story than we've read in some of the other books. Yes? Yeah? I don't know. Let's find out. But find it also, again, interesting on how this morning I thought about to be a good person, to really put your best foot forward, always for others, and often for others. I would say again, I guess it depends on how much do you believe in an afterlife. And does it really need to be debated? That no, there is nothing that comes after. We're just going to go dust to dust, ashes to ashes. That is that. I would agree with that if every animal and every plant out there would have the same kind of abilities as we do as human beings. But we are definitely separate. There is a separation. There's a separation of state. There is between animals and human beings. Yes? Though there is communication, what did I say about the plant? Right? It's so interesting to see. But did the plant just react to the necessity that it is a vine, right? Instinct. The plant reacted to instinct, but what I saw is, oh wow, the plant is reacting to instinct, right? Yes, right there is the difference. I recognize that. The plant's not going to recognize that, right? That, oh, oh, what a nice human being. It put up this fence, right? Where I'm growing, I can't kind of do what I otherwise would do at a tree or something. Anyway, interesting. So I see that. I see on how we are definitely created very differently than from the rest of creation. And that everything out there is created for us, mankind, human beings. Yes, it is. Because when it comes down to it, hmm, if we did not have this specific intelligence that we've got, uh, it's separated by the principles of creation and the principles of love, right? Animals and plants, they are under the power, under the guidance of instinct and the seasons, whereas we are guided under the power of love, right? Yes, yeah, well, free will, freedom to choose, yeah. Yes, many different things that animals and plants don't have. That is that, yeah. And even the universe is set up. It never changes. It's unchanging. Always the same. It's always the same. It has certain phenomena that go with it every so many years. This, nah. But the path of that does not change. Yes. Okay. Unless we do something again, you know. All right. Can't help that some of this stuff all is starting to fall down on. Okay. I'm not gonna go there. Ah, deliver me from the stupidity of people out there. Yes, I said it. Mm, so to me, there is, no, no, to explain it to someone that, is there an afterlife? I'd say 90%, if not even more, of the people all around the world do wonder about that. Is it worth it? Does it make any sense to actually live your life for the sake of others? Well, spirit world, the afterlife doesn't exist for eternity, then why would you? Why would you not live a totally selfish life, accumulate as much as you can? Not sure for what, but okay. And well, there you go. Right, live as comfortable as you can, and disregard any kind of life around you otherwise. This, now, as I said, just live for yourself. Do the absolute best for your own family and disregard any kind of conscientious thought for any other family, right? Yes? Yeah, then that makes sense. But I guarantee you there is an afterlife. As I said, just explained why there is one. And we do prepare for that life here. This is not our primary life. So, to stay steadfast, as it looks like Tobit was, that's a good example in many ways. Well, see what happens next, right? Surrounded again. Here he was a king that, okay, yeah, let's work together. Then there's a king who was after his life. And then there was another king and his nephew that got him back in to, yeah, to be able to continue to do good for the Israelites. Interesting to hear that in a way there's a commoner, someone just from the regular people from the tribe of Naphtali that was taking care of the Israelite while in exile. Yes? Interesting? Yeah, I think so. So today it's not much different. There's a lot of people out there, they give their whole life to other people. Their whole life. Trying to make things better for others. Because they have it good enough and make it better for others. And that's a really, really difficult path to walk. Very difficult. You will find people throwing rocks in your way, hurdles your way, try to deflate you in a way, put you down, this all the time. Because if one were to acknowledge good people, really good people, then one would have to start looking at oneself, right? Yes? Anyway, I came across, started thinking about that mainly because I came across a passage again of on how true father has suffered all his life. And saying so himself on that difficult path that he walked, trying to live for the sake of the world, trying to establish the true family, the true parents, the blessing, the change of lineage, back to our heavenly parents' lineage, separating, right, from evil, to don't lead us into temptation, and deliver us from evil. That's what that means to me now. I know that now. I understand the Lord's Prayer more and more. Yes, that was Jesus's path, actually. But we didn't let a good man live 2,000 years ago. Yes? People several times almost killed True Father as well. But he survived. He persevered. Yes. True Mother did too. And I thought about that, and I thought, yeah. People tend to forget to look at the whole picture. And because of one's own agenda, as I said, the selfish way of how I want to be, not what I need to give out there to everyone else, right? In order for that to happen, that keep it close, right? Yes, we pick little parts out of a whole. For example, speech. We pick little parts out of the Bible instead of knowing the whole, right? To then fit how we want to live. Not according to heavenly parents, God's ideal. We want. Yes? I think that's really something we need to step away from. In a way that the Ten Commandments by a lady that, as I've mentioned this story before, was hit by lightning, then ended up being clinically dead, kind of in a way, and had some experiences in spirit world, and came back and explained the Ten Commandments. And the one about adultery, for example, is beware when you support one side or the other in a marriage where you suddenly become a counselor or this or that, or you're friends with one more than the other, and when there's a couple, and you're supporting the idea of divorce, or you gossip about one because you're on the side of the other, you become, or you support the cheating of one or the other. Beware, because you will become a part of the adulterous behavior, right? If you support them, if you don't step back and say, wait, I gotta know the whole picture here, right? Rather than just be listening to one party. Okay, that's difficult. I was in a situation like that, and I always encouraged the couples just see what you can do. I never just said, yeah, yeah, you go ahead and you get a divorce. Or, yeah, yeah, you go ahead. Never did I do that. Or support cheating. If I would find, which there was a case, and I had to actually take a step back. I said, if you do that, I said, I'm sure you have your reasons, maybe, but you don't. You need to first talk to your husband and you know take care of this somehow first before you do what you're telling me you want to do. And in a way, because we were such good friends, you know, permission to do it. Like if there's another person says, yeah, yeah, well, I understand, and I'll keep it a secret for you. I said, no, I didn't do that. I said, no, I have to take a step back, and I can't be a part of this. I'll be happy to be a mediator between you and your husband, or support you by you going to him and say, hey, look, this isn't working anymore. We need to finish up this marriage, and then you can go on and do whatever, but not like this. And so I'm just saying, yes. So this lady came back with these things about the Ten Commandments, where beware on how so much out there, even though it seems like adultery is just between two people, on how other people become a part of it, supporting it, and then it becomes a collective sin. Yes? Yeah? Yes? Yeah? Okay. Just as an example on how we have to be careful. When it comes to all that. How to stay a good, consistent person. Yeah? Are you willing to step up and say, I can't support you in that? No, for example, I just mentioned. And be truthful. You want to stay a good person, or for the sake of the friendship, for the sake of the whatever. Right? Again, those are selfish reasons. Are you willing to let someone slide down the ladder when it comes to spiritual life? Well, where are they going to be then with you in spirit world? And if they're such good friends, one should be. If you're a good family, good friends, you should be able to be honest with each other. Yes? But you also need to know the whole picture, the whole story, in order to be able, right, to do the right thing. Stay on the right path. If it's just, I said, I've seen this all my life. People will pull something out of their head. Live and let live. Wow, that sounds so good, doesn't it? Such a perfect sentence. And it is so wrong. Live and let live. Yeah, that's a good ending right there. Okay, well, ugh. Ugh. I think probably one of the things we'll face in spirit world more than anything else I don't even know how to describe that. You just took that right out of my mind. I'm not supposed to share that? That just, it was there as clear as day. And as soon as I started talking about it, completely slipped away. That's like it was taken. It's just completely, it's like it just took it away from me. Why did you do that? Enough? Okay, well, it'll come back another time. I can't say that. Okay, all right. I have to say it a little differently. Is taking parts of someone someone's good parts of another, good parts of a good person, and use them for your agenda, for your purpose that may or may not be right. That will be something that we will face first in spirit world. I know people have all kinds of ideas on what that's going to be. Your life will flash in front of your eyes, this and that. Yeah, maybe so. But what we did with good works of other people, that we will face first. I was going to say it a little differently. I guess that's why. Okay, there you go. So, if we come across good people, Tobit, maybe one of them, right? Sounds like to me. Someone that's willing to bury his people's bodies at the risk of his life. Sounds like it. Sounded like it. Yes. And again, that's a yes. Good reminder. Nehemiah and Ezra. Right? Yes. One reads the whole thing to get a picture of it. And then either Ezra and Nehemiah really tried to be good people under the guidance of God. Yes, did everything work out? No, but that's to be expected as well. When you start again at the beginning, yes? So, yeah. Read the whole Bible, yes? If people were to know the whole Bible, everyone were to have actually read the whole Bible, then people wouldn't be able, other people wouldn't be able to just use little quotes out of it for, again, for their own purpose, their own agenda, which may or may not be right. Right? Yes? Yeah. See, there you go. There's a solution to that. To people out there say, well, I don't believe in all this anymore. It's just to read the whole Bible. Read the whole Bible with a proper heart to mind, with the proper conscience to go with it. And when you're done with the whole Bible, then say that again. See if you can say that again. Yes? Yeah. All right. That's what you really want. Okay. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you, embrace you with love, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.